Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here. In this video we're going to be talking about astral messages, interpreting your dreams. So dream interpretation has been something that I've been able to work together with here in the past couple of years. And if you would like to have a personal dream interpretation session, then there is that availability here for you through my website. But we're going to talk a little bit more in regards to how you are looking to interpret these particular forms of astral-based messages. That the dream state and its purpose is all about being able to discover the relationship between what you are experiencing in this life and being able for you to understand more of the vividness, more of the deeper enrichment of essence pertaining to what you are going through in this life and in other particular forms of realities. It is a multi-dimensional form of communication. This is what the dream state is all about, is that we're going into our multi-dimensional aspects. We're starting to understand more of ourselves, and we're seeing how our awoken life and our dream life are basically very much the same. There is only the difference between ground rules that we are flowing with here in the physical plane, that we have gravity, that we're working together within bodies, that we breathe oxygen, etc. All of these are the typical ground rules. And as we look into the dream plane, we see how boundless we truly are, that everything that may consider to be supernatural or possessive superpowers in that way is very, very possible. But the dream plane is basically just helping us very much through metaphor. Approximately 95% of dreams are metaphorical, are symbolic. And it is through this metaphor, it is through the symbolism that dreams are attempting to tell us more about ourselves. What power are we putting into things? What elements and what aspects of ourselves are we starting to vibe a little bit with that may be beneficial or not so beneficial with ourselves? So it's really helping us to understand the mirror reflections by being in this hall of mirrors and looking into all of these perspectives through the idea of metaphor, symbolism, etc. Now, what is it about the symbolisms? What is it about us feeling that maybe we wake up one morning, we have a dream where we dreamt that on planet Earth here, we were sitting on top of a hill, all of a sudden we see this gigantic meteor coming through the atmosphere, bam, impacting as a meteorite and destroying everything in sight. Does this mean that this is actually going to happen? No, it's not a literal translation. About 1 out of every 100 dreams is actually literal pertaining to its meaning. So if you feel that you just woke up from a very strong, catastrophic-like dream, oh my goodness, a meteorite crashed and wiped out a city and this huge explosion happened and everything was laid to waste. I'm scared as heck right now. What am I going to do? Doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. It's basically representing the idea that times are changing, that there is going to be a very, very impactful shift in your reality, and it's going to shake a lot of things up. It's going to cause this tremendous explosion where everything that you thought reality was will be laid to waste, which is basically representing an old paradigm to a new paradigm shift, the end of an old cycle, the beginning of a new cycle. That is primarily what it is saying. Now, how do we know how to decrypt these particular forms of dreams? Well, the symbolisms really speak for themselves. That we can really go to a bookstore and purchase a dream Bible, and we can look into a lot of the particular types of definitions, and into some way this can be helpful, but it's not really necessary in order for you to decrypt your dreams. It's really looking more into an observational perspective of yourself. That it's really not being able to see yourself so involved with the particular dream. If you see that there are elements of fear, or if there are certain forms of cataclysms, or whatever else may occur within the dream that personally frighten you or that bring you into such a heavy involvement pertaining to those symbolisms, then you're going to have a very, very challenging time attempting to interpret these dreams. It's about being able to float as an observer. It is your flow that is going to allow these symbolisms to take place in regards to how they can speak to you. So the more that you can just really surrender yourself and just be in observation, really look into the neutral space about what these particular types of dreams are attempting to tell you through their symbolisms. Because, again, 95% of the time, they are symbolic, they are metaphorical, and they are attempting to tell you something about what you're going through in life. They're telling you about your personality, they're telling you about what sort of opportunities are in front of you. They're telling you about where you're putting your energy constantly. They're telling you about relationships. They're telling you everything about yourself in very unique, symbolic ways. Well, why can't the dream plane just tell me flat out what I'm doing wrong? Or why can't it just tell me flat out in literal, clear English, so to speak, about what I can do to expand myself? Because that's not what you're here to do on this planet. We are functioning within a giant co-creation. And by doing so, we have certain forms of laws that are in effect. We operate within what's known as a law of confusion, which is often known as free will. And so being able to operate in a law of confusion, much in regards to our own higher levels, have interventional procedures that they must follow. And this relates to the idea of sharing with us certain forms of dream interpretations through symbology, to helping us look into ourselves a little bit more. Now, to other particular beings that may be functioning beyond our world, the dream plane is very much like their reality. And so symbolism is very much a language that they understand, where we're talking about elemental beings that are in different dimensions of our earth. We're talking about other beings, other consciousnesses that are existing beyond our world. They are very much aware pertaining to the symbology of the astral realms. That's the language they speak. That's their comprehension. So when we are basically a very literal society, attempting to communicate everything pertaining to words and common sense, trying to really interpret dreams is something we've fallen behind a bit. However, it is something that we are capable of regaining. And just like being a psychic, being an intuitive, being a channel, being a healer, once you bring your intuition into this, dream interpretation is not only going to be very understandable to do, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're actually going to have a great amount of time. You're going to have a very serious connection to this, of course, but you're also going to have a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun, really being able to interpret your dreams, because they come to you in an art form. They really are works of art expressed through symbolism, helping you to understand yourself. And so there really is a very strong appreciation for the dream plane once you start to document a lot of these particular symbolisms that take place, so that you can decrypt more about what's happening in your reality. Let's take a look at the idea between vivid dreams and lucid dreams. What is the difference between vivid and lucid? Well, firstly, we're going to start with vivid dreams. Vivid dreams represent recall. It is all about feeling that you are actually there, that all of our five senses that we carry here on the physical plane feels like they're wide and awake when we're in our dream plane. We feel that we can smell certain things, we see things with great clarity, we can hear all these amazing sounds in great depth, we can touch things, we can taste things. We are having all of this particular capabilities pertaining to vividness within our dreams. So it's basically encountering a very intimate, personal relationship with our dream plane. And when this happens, yes, we feel like we're actually there, but we're able to recall a great deal of detail pertaining to what we experienced. And so vivid dreaming is just being able to work together with the memories pertaining to the dream. And this can be very, very helpful, because this will help you look into much more detailed symbolism. Even the most subtle thing in the dream can have the most profound effect to a person who is looking to do dream interpretation. So the astral messages are coming through very, very strongly for you, and that through your vividness, you can document them. You can write them down, you can record this, whatever needs to be done, whatever you feel is satisfactory for you. But being able to be vivid is a very strong key, and allowing yourself to get a really better fundamental understanding about what your own dreams are attempting to tell you. So, for example, you may feel that you are just, again, on top of a hill, and that you have turned into this old man or old woman, let's say, depending on who's watching this video, of course. And as you are this old kind of frail man and old frail woman, you're looking on this kind of dead valley. There's really not that much wildlife here. Everything feels like it's turned to dust. And all of a sudden you feel this huge impact of wind. Wind is just blowing across your face. It's just an intense, intense wind. And it's causing some type of negotiation for you to turn around. And so from that area where you're seeing this valley, that looks like it's devoid of life and that you're old and frail, and then you allow yourself to turn around, now all of a sudden you become a young child again. And instead of looking at a dead valley, you look at a vast, expansive ocean. What is this dream attempting to tell you? Now, firstly, you've allowed vividness to recall a great deal of the symbolism. You could feel that you were an older person. You could feel that your body maybe was weak and that you really couldn't carry a lot of energy with you. And you could see very clearly throughout this entire landscape that felt like it was devoid of life. And then you were able to feel this strong impact of wind, and that it was somehow negotiating, it was turning you around. It was giving you this particular form of influence to turn in the other direction, a 180-degree turn. And as you turned, you became a child. And as a child, maybe 5, 6 years old, let's say, being able to look at this vast, expansive ocean that did not seem to end, right? So what is this dream telling us based upon the vividness that we encountered? Well, again, it's talking about an old paradigm, new paradigm shift, that there was nothing left at all, that there was no life, everything felt very bleak, everything felt very, very distasteful pertaining to just the viewpoint. It was awful. And then being able to turn yourself around and seeing yourself as this child, and now being able to see this expansive ocean. So this is giving us the idea that through this paradigm shift, that once we have arranged ourselves to change our viewpoint, we're now seeing something in a great level of depth. The ocean represents depth. It represents the ability of expansion, and that there are no horizons. It's that you're here and you're amongst a great expansive ocean that never seems to end, which means that you are realizing that there are always infinite possibilities. You can chart your course throughout this infinite expansive ocean wherever you would like. And so this is giving you the opportunity of new ground, the transformation of a new shift, realizing that anything in life is possible, and being that journeyer, that explorer, to set your course wherever you would like, and being able to see the world again through the wonder of a child, right? So that is basically giving you a dream symbolism through the vividness that you attained, pertaining to shifting from an old paradigm, from a bleak, old, nasty-looking world, and being able to shift your perspective to that of innocence, to the point of the child, that is being able to look into this beautiful, expansive ocean. So that is basically giving us one particular example of how symbolism is being interpreted just as we feel the energy coming through. We're taking a look at the entire timeline through what we were able to encapsulate through vividness and being able to look at these particular elements. Now, what about lucid dreaming? Well, lucid dreaming is when you are personally interacting on a different level pertaining to your dream state. So when you are a lucid dreamer, you are basically in a type of God state. You are actually able to manipulate your environment. You're able to manipulate everything around you, whether it be items, objects, people, etc. You're moving more so into this creator state. And that if you have, let's say, a brick wall that's directly in front of you, you would have the ability to hold out your hand and liquefy that wall. And now you're able to see what's on the other side. If you're able to suddenly stand within the center of a void and just think other people within your reality can show up, they do. They appear. And now you can have conversations with the aspects of your own subconscious. That's, again, how the dream plane completely works when we're looking at lucidity. So lucidity is really giving you the opportunity to become a full-out architect, a full-out creator pertaining to your dream space. Now, depending upon the messages that require your attention within the dream plane, it may also be possible that if you feel that you are very lucid, that your lucid abilities actually become blocked. And the reason being is because there is something very, very important within the dream plane for you to see, for you to experience. So for example, if you were just suddenly awakening within a lucid dream state with all these people walking around the city, it's not about feeling that you can snap your fingers and all of a sudden everybody will freeze. Maybe that worked in a previous lucid dream, but now you're attempting to snap your fingers and nothing's happening. Now you're trying to do this, and now it's like these people are just turning around and looking at you in a very, very puzzled manner. Because what you're doing is you're attempting to interrupt the flow of something that is very important to get your attention. So lucidity is basically subject to happening, which basically means that if there's something that within your dream plane can be manipulated, can be transformed through the idea of an architect or a creator state, then that can happen. But if there's something very, very important within your dream plane that you are meant to see, your own higher levels will actually come together and prevent that particular form of lucidity to coming together. So you may just basically be vivid. But it all depends upon the situation. It all depends upon the circumstance. Now we're going to take a look in regards to how can we become vivid or how can we become more lucid. Well, this is all about being able to create triggers within ourselves. The greatest form of trigger that we can encounter in the dream plane is repetitiveness. So the more that we are looking into some type of affirmation, perhaps some type of symbol, perhaps some type of mannerism like snapping our fingers in the dream plane, is helping us to calibrate our subconscious mind into our conscious mind so that they become one. So that we are allowing this particular form of vividness and or lucidity to take place. So this is where you are giving yourself time to create a symbol, to go into some type of affirmation, a type of mantra, or to create some type of mannerism that you may feel strongly reflects your ability to connect in vivid and lucid dreaming states. So let's say, for example, that your own vivid dream mantra is basically allowing yourself to say a prayer every single night before you go to bed. That being able to connect with your spirit guides, your loved ones, your divine connections, and asking for their assistance to help provide vivid recall within your dream state tonight. That may be something that's effective. Again, it can be anything you want, whatever you feel is effective altogether. Secondly, you may look in regards to the idea of lucidity, again going back into the snapping of the finger. So you're basically doing a meditation where you just constantly see yourself doing this. Every time you snap your finger, you're saying to yourself, lucid dream, lucid dream, lucid dream. And you keep doing that. And it may not even be something that you're physically doing. It's just something where you're closing your eyes and you're seeing yourself snap your finger. Lucid dream, lucid dream, lucid dream. Something like that is very, very simple. It may take some time to develop. It may come to you very quickly. Again, everybody is different. But being able to utilize these particular forms of triggers are going to help you to connect more to the idea of having vivid memory pertaining to the dream plane, and as well as having lucid opportunities in the dream plane as well. Again, depending in regards to the subject representing the dream itself. There's something very, very important that you need to see. Lucidity may not be possible, so it just really depends in regards to that area. But feel free to look into the idea of the triggers that you feel will benefit you entirely, and being able to help you and recall much of that vivid and lucid memory, that vivid and lucid transformations that can take place in the dream plane as you develop your own natural triggers that you feel are personally effective. So what is the best way to decipher dreams? So let's say we've been able to recall our dreams, we even got to play with lucidity a little bit in our dream. And we wake up in the morning, a nice peaceful type of awakening, nothing intrusive, nothing impactful, nothing scarce. We wake up in the morning, it's a beautiful way to wake up, the sun's shining in our eyes, we slowly open our eyes, our body just starts to stretch, and now we're able to grab a hold of our notebook and we write down, let's say, 2 pages worth of a dream interpretation. What is the best way to really interpret this dream? Read the entire dream first back to you. Don't worry about stopping in little increments here and feeling that, okay, I'm gonna now interpret this part, or I'm going to interpret this part, etc. Read out the entire dream in your mind. And as you do that, you're now understanding the dream scope, so otherwise known as the dream timeline. So now that you're becoming more aware of the timeline, and you've been able to read it in your mind or out loud, now you're able to go back into particular elements because you're starting to get fundamental flow coming together in this way. It's not about attempting to analyze the dreams logically. If you attempt to analyze the dreams logically by feeling that, oh, well, this must make common sense here, this must be the logical conclusion in regards to why I did this. Maybe the dream Bible is telling me this, and so I guess this must be the answer. That's not always the case. It's where you're allowing your natural intuition to kick in and giving you the idea through flow about what these interpretations may mean. So let's say, for example, I was within a gigantic cathedral, and every step I took, people were looking back at me as if I was some type of invader. And I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had these daggers of eyes being pierced at me as I took these steps towards the cathedral. Right? So what is the particular symbolism pertaining to the idea of a cathedral? Well, a cathedral represents a holy place, a place of sanctuary. And that you decide to come in and just start taking steps and creaking through these steps while there is this small audience of, again, worshippers, so to speak, that are truly within the space. So basically, it's giving you the symbolism of the idea of intrusion, so that there's a feeling of intrusion. There's a feeling that you may not be ready to go into this particular type of journey that may represent the aspect pertaining to a holy sanctuary, coming into your own divine power, right? So this is giving you the idea of that particular type of metaphor, that the people here represent aspects of your divine self, moving into the feeling that these heavy steps that you're taking are so intrusive and are feeling that they are creating distractions into this holy place. And this holy place is you, and all these people here again are you. But you're attempting to move into the sanctum of this particular type of cathedral, and it's telling you that you're not ready to do that yet, because there's still some things about you that feel intrusive, that feel that there are distractions immersing from you, and you need to look at those particular forms of distractions further before you feel that you belong within this particular inner sanctum of yourself. So that's what it's basically saying in that particular example. Now, what then I do to translate that? It's all about allowing flow to come through. It's where the words are becoming themselves. It's like that inspirational speaking. It's a channeling state. That's the whole idea. So being able to really entrust your ability to open up to consciousness, trust the process, and interpret the information is the key here in regards to dream interpretation, to determining your astral messages and what they mean. So when you really look into the idea of saying that even though the Dream Bible may say this, a Dream Dictionary, what have you, may say this, the term may be entirely different because, one, you're understanding your own personality a little bit better, but you're not attaching to the particular aspect of feeling that I'm going to get involved with this, so that you are blocking your ability to flow with this particular energy relating to interpretation. So being able to really connect with yourself on a neutral level, that you do know yourself, but you're not attaching to the knowing of yourself in regards to a state of involvement. So again, we're looking at a cathedral. So a cathedral is my own holy space, is my own sacred sanctuary, and that I feel like I'm intruding in my own sacred space. So that's basically what the steps are doing. As you're seeing, you're taking the heavy steps, you feel the heavy cracks in the floorboards as you walk. And all of these people, dressed in beautiful, gowns, what have you, are just turning their heads and looking back at you and just staring at you with daggers in their eyes, because they're saying, you don't belong here. This is not your time to be in here. You need to work on yourself externally a little bit more. You need to reshape yourself so that you can really look into the divinity of what you hold within the heart. And as you start to do that, you'll be able to come back into the cathedral, and there won't be so much of an imposition for you to come in to feel that you're disturbing everybody. You may feel that you have a lot of personal transformations taking place within the weeks ahead, and you create another particular type of dream. Now, in this way, you are in a monastery, right? A beautiful monastery, maybe something like you would see in Tibet. And now you're being able to open the doors, and now you're feeling yourself levitating across the floor. And everybody who is seated on the ground in the lotus position is holding their hands up in respect, bowing their heads. Now that's an entirely different dream in itself, but it represents a very similar in relationship metaphor to what we were just talking about in the cathedral. So now we're looking at the idea that you're levitating, from the idea of this long hallway, and you're coming in and you're just floating across the room. And all the people that are there are just holding their hands up and bowing to you in respect. That's a great form of transformation. That's a great sign. See, we're always going to have different types of interpretations of this, but it all comes down to the same meaning, which is really representing the idea of our connection to the divine, of our connection to reality, and helping us understand what we have done to work together with our reality and our alliance, and working together with ourselves. That through everything that we create through ourselves, from what we're able to transform through ourselves, becomes the projector in regards to external physical reality. So as we start to improve that, this is basically what the dreams are telling us. And dreams are wonderful messengers. They're incredible. The messengers that they are, being able to tell you so much about yourself. And being able to do this in dream interpretation as well too. I can understand a lot about a person by the dreams they tell me. And so if this is something that you would like a little bit more help on, then again, that's something that you can connect with through my website. Let yourself be consistent as you continue to document your dreams. Let it be something that you're doing on a nightly basis. So as much as you can, try and interpret your dreams. There may be times where you feel that you've just caught up a blank, and that's understandable. But whenever at times you feel that you have remembered something within your dreams, give yourself the opportunity to document it as much as possible. What will also assist in the idea of documenting dreams is the way that you wake up. Okay? So sometimes we may not be able to help what we have seen outside. Maybe there's something outside like a big boom or a big truck going by and it wakes us up. Yes, understandable, that can happen. But if you are able to still be within a very, very comfortable, quiet space, you're training yourself to have a pleasant awakening rather than the idea of a rude awakening, feeling that you're just, we're lifting up out of bed and feeling that you're just getting this huge shock and feeling that a few seconds later, you don't even remember what you were shocked about anymore. So in the best way that you can, meditate on this and look into the idea about asking yourself permission to have smooth, humble awakenings in the morning rather than anything intrusive, shocking, or rude. Right? So the more that you can really just rest your body and just lay still, slowly opening your eyes in the morning and just taking it very, very gently, taking it very, very subtly. And as you start to feel very, very comfortable, reach over to your notepad or to your MP3 recorder, whatever it may be, and start to document your dream. So this is basically that when there is subtlety in the awakening of yourself, the memory itself is able to hold itself a lot more. If there's sudden movements, if there's sudden twitches, if there's sudden shocks, 9 times out of 10, this can relate to dream forgetfulness. So we want to try and maintain that dream equilibrium of being able to recall those memories as much as possible through subtle awakening altogether. And again, let yourself be consistent. The more consistent you are pertaining to your dreams, pertaining to how you are able to document them on a regular basis, now you'll be able to, again, create the idea through your mind of saying that I'm allowing myself to become expansive, relating to vivid dreams, relating to lucid dreams, and now my mind is calibrated to the point where I can recall them with great detail. And now I can start to document them. And now I'll go back with each of them and start to decrypt them and find out exactly what am I attempting to tell myself. Because that, again, is what the dream plane is all about. It's helping you to understand the depths of relationship beyond words, beyond what can be understood in the physical realm, relating to yourself, relating to your life, relating to your relationships, relating to who you are as a human being, as soul, as spirit, as mind.